Hey, this is Shaun with the Go Tennis Podcast, powered by Signature Tennis. Check out our calendar of Metro Atlanta tennis events at letsgotennis.com. And today is 10 minutes of tennis with world renowned tennis coach, Australian in Puerto Rico. I think he's in Texas right now, but we won't tell anybody. Pointing at the picture of clay courts, because yes, today we are going to talk about the quarterfinals of the French Open and what is it, 2025, and we got a couple of surprises, one on the men's side, one on the women's side. Bublik kind of showing up unexpectedly, and then on the women's side there's somebody, I think she's 350 in the world or something, that has decided to make the quarterfinals. So we want to talk about that, and we want to tie it into our overall theme right now of the future of tennis. What does this mean for the future of tennis? So Justin, let's just start talking about the quarterfinals. You want to start men or women?
Uh, Either. You choose, mate.
Okay, let's start women because I know less about that. So I can just ask questions as though I don't know what I'm talking about because,
Yeah.
I don't. As of recording, Sabalenka's already won and Swiatek is on court.
Yep.
So those are kind of expected. That's 1-8, 5-13. Those are decent expected matches. Sabalenka being what, late 20s, Swiatek mid 20s, Svitolina is the oldest in the draw. Does that say anything?
No, I mean, I think
Not
we've
the
got
draw,
some.
sorry, in the quarters.
The quarters look fantastic. I mean, it's going to be strong tennis on the clay. There's quite a few players here that are, I would say, very strong on hard court. Fast court players more than clay. So pretty surprised they're all the way deep into the quarterfinals on the clay, which is good to see. Especially Madison Keys. I mean, go Madison. Let's go,
Following up.
Maddie. Um, Maddie's going to have a tough one against Goff, though. Goff is definitely a grinder, and she'll do well. My pick is Goff to win the tournament. If she stays fit, she's tough enough. She's got just enough experience, and she's definitely got the grinding game on a clay court to not let go. Um, and even if Sabalenka gets there, Goff has had a win over her. So my big one is Goff if she stays well and stays healthy. That's my call on that side.
So aside from Iga being near unbeatable on clay and Sabalenka being a 6 foot tall, big
Mm,
hitter, you don't think
mm.
golf's scared of them?
No,
Okay,
no. And on
that's
clay,
good.
she's just got the right game. She can vary it. She can keep the ball alive. She can counterpunch. She can attack. Uh, she's just got to put it all together, and but she's done that before. I mean, she's done it at the Australian Open, and that wasn't on clay. That was on hard court. So I think on the clay, I think she'll do very well. I think and just looking at the field, she'll do good. And even looking at the field, we want to talk first year of tennis. You got half the field young in their 20s, and then you got another half of the field, a couple of 30-year-old, 27, 30, 30. I mean, what a mix of field. Future tennis is interesting because we used to see many years ago, early teens to late teens, that we would see young tennis players that were making quarterfinals of the French. We're not seeing that. Young now is early 20s, and old is not old anymore. Like, we're seeing couple of 30-year-olds here peaking in their career in quarterfinals. I mean, Svitolina and Keys are playing great tennis for their age. And usually back in the days, that was at retirement stage. Um, so yeah, with future tennis, we're going to see. I think we're going to see players mature later, and we shouldn't rush the player development. I think I've had this conversation a lot in the past where we push players too soon, too quick. They feel the pressure and they're not emotionally driven or physically they're not built for it yet, and that's when you get shoulders and hip problems or inefficiency and stroke. There's so many things that they could learn now and not rush. So anyway, that's something I see on the women's side, and on the men's side we see the same thing. You know, on the men's side, again, mix of ages. So, and that one's going to be an interesting one. But my theory on that one is Carlos. Carlos is going to win it clean, and I think clean because he's serving so well. whatever. I've looked at the serve; they've really got it right, and I'm sure there's more to come because it looks like it could probably get a little higher with his reach ball toss. Um, but man, if they really got something happening on his serve, and he's delivering it when he needs it as well, even when he's down break points. Um, so that was sort of I thought one of his weaknesses, and now I'd like to see them try to get a bit more whip like Shelton does on the second. That would be something wild. Uh, but anyway, that's my pick on that side because it's best of five as well. I just don't see anyone outdoing that guy.
Yeah, I can understand. And I picked Alcaraz as well. Our son Giovanni picked Sinner,
Yep,
as he likes to do. But in this case, that would be 1 versus 2 in the final, assuming Zverev and Djokovic. I mean, that's the only one in this quarterfinal that I struggled to pick. I actually still picked Djokovic. I love seeing the American men in the quarterfinals of the French Open. Again, I don't see Tiafo or Alcaraz getting past Musetti or sorry, Tiafo and Paul getting past their opponents, Musetti and Alcaraz. I just
yep,
don't. I'm not confident in that.
yep.
Thankfully, I'm not a betting man, so I don't have to. I don't have to worry about it. It's just kind of fun to make the picks and say, "Hey, here's our thoughts for this one, and we can argue about it later."
Yeah, well, the interesting one for both those quarters, though, Paul's going to give Alcaraz a real good fight, so that's going to
Paul's
be
beaten
really
him before.
cool.
Yeah,
It's
he's not
going to
afraid
be
of
a
him.
really good battle, best of five. It'll be a really good battle. Paul won't
Yeah,
let go. Hopefully, Paul's learned just from the recent tournament, the last one that he played against Alcaraz and lost. I hope that Paul says, "Okay, what I've got to do is step up into that baseline and just
yeah.
keep pounding," because he was on top of him, and then he let go and moved too far back.
Can't defend. Yep.
Yeah, so I really hope he really just keeps swinging and plays the way he's been playing and just keeps getting stronger. But
Now,
great,
if I'm a parent or a player, if I'm a
yep,
parent and I'm looking at a kid, like I look at my 2.5-year-old and I
yep,
say, okay, I can't wait to get him playing. And what does this mean for his pathway? And there's so
yep,
many different ways to do it. You can go the Alcaraz way. He had an agent and he found Ferrero at 14 years old, and professional tennis was the goal. His father was a coach, his grandfather built tennis facilities. So it was always there. Spinner, I think, was skiing at some point still in in his early teenage years. But then you've got the Ben Sheltons of the world, and you've got the I think you mentioned Cam Norrie in a different conversation about guys coming through college and developing later and being okay with that and hitting tour at 21. Ben Shelton comes on tour at 20, I think he was, where Felix Auger-Aliassime plays his first professional tournament at 14. So we've
mm.
got more of a range now, do you think, than we used to?
Yeah, we've got quite a few range, but when we look at the numbers, like the highest percentage of numbers, college is falling right into the window to help players catapult to pro. And even if they only do 2 years of college and just all of a sudden maturity and playing well and winning matches, they jump out of college and straight into pro. That can happen, but we're seeing players learn, mature, grow physically, emotionally, all the right things that we're seeing. All those things happening now, it's a later stage, it's not an early stage, and we don't want to rush that. I mean, there are players that will excel through that. We say they're the one percenters, right? I mean, Alcaraz was young when he came in, um, but we're not going to see a lot of that anymore. What we're starting to see is the more mature players are coming in later, and you only have to look at this. Paul, there's multiple players here. Zverev, they're all starting to peak, but they're in their late 20s,
Mhm.
Um, the other ones are going to learn. They're going to go in and out, in and out. But I mean, one of the cool things here is we're looking at two Americans in the quarterfinals of the French, mate. I mean, seriously, that's massive news as far as I'm concerned because they're known as hardcore players, both of those guys, especially TFO. Um, so they're going to put on a show, which is going to be awesome for quarterfinals. I'm happy that the Americans are there because that's good for your little boy. Um, we have to remind ourselves that idols are usually idols from each culture or each country. Even though a lot of people idolize Federer and Nadal and Djokovic, but They did that because they were the three kings, right? I mean, now with a big spread of people going in and out of the top 10, I think we're going to see a lot more people following countrymen, and that's going to be really cool, especially in the American side, but that's been, you know, sort of distant for quite some time on the American men's side. So
I think
awesome
it's
stuff.
also my last point here would be for the social player, and usually watching 19 to 28-year olds playing, battling it out as superheroes just gets us excited and we want to go play. But it's a reminder that we're all younger than we used to be. And I say that because when we say, 40 is the new 30 and 50 is the new 40, we're healthier, we're younger as a species. We're
Mm.
able to do more as we get older. So I think that should encourage the the social player to say, you know what? I can go out and still play. I don't have to age out. I don't have to switch to pickleball just because I don't think I can handle it. But I don't have to say, well, tennis is a young man's sport anymore. I can still play. I can do this. If Novak can do it, so can I.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things I can help with that. If everyone wants to learn that in other talks, where I can actually help you understand biomechanics, things that you need to change when you get older, and you do that, and you can enjoy the sport just as well as you did in your 20s. But what I will finish with our last whatever minutes we've got left is just go USA. I mean, you've got four American players in the quarterfinals at the French Open. Um, that's amazing. Like that, just, if there's one country that's standing out, this is it. So let's put it out there. Let's highlight them. Go USA. It's good to see the strong dominance, which is great for your little kid. And I'm sorry for you pickleball guys out there, but tennis tennis still dominates, baby. Let's go. The more
Tennis is still king.
Yes, the more we keep getting players like this in the quarterfinals, all four of them, the more we're going to dominate over this bloody pickleball. That's all I can say.
I agree. Justin, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. This has been 10 Minutes of Tennis with Justin Yo. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, mate. Go USA.